A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Of course, today we will be talking about the Super Falcons. We will also talk about table tennis and also give you a slice of lawn tennis. And we also travel abroad at some point, talk about what is happening as we prepare for the next Grand Slam of the year. We will be taking a look at Matteo Berrettini and current world #1, that's Daniil Medvedev, both of them doing well at the Halle Open. We will also look at, of course, the English Premier League. Of course, we now know the run of matches that we will see in the English Premier League. And, of course, we'll take a look at day one, the opening day fixtures in the English Premier League. We will also talk about karate on the show. We'll look at how that sport is doing currently on the Nigerian scene. That's the outlook of the show today. Of course, I don't do this alone. My partner, Austin Okon-Akpan, is also ready as we prepare to take you on a trip across the body spinning world of sports.
Body greetings to you, Yemi, and of course our viewers joining us from different parts of the world. Still an action-packed world of sports, and we're looking forward to, having fun on the program with everyone joining us on this beautiful ride. A case in point, the Super Falcons. We hope to continue their dominance in Africa when the Africa Women's Cup of Nations gets underway. And for that competition, Yemi, lately it's not just about Nigeria or South Africa. Morocco has joined the mix. It's getting really competitive women's football in Africa, and we're looking forward to the outcome.
All right, we're looking forward to that. Let's just quickly introduce our partner in the Lagos studio. It's been a while, but we're happy to have him join us. Tolu Atobatele joins us this lovely Thursday evening. Greetings, Tolu. Been a while, but thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, of course. It's good to always, talk sport, acquaint, avid sports lovers, of the event, all of sport and what to expect, in the coming, because, you talk about our Super Falcons going, to the Alcon in Morocco, just a couple of weeks away from this time, and also, looking forward to the most competitive, club football competition in the world, the EPL, and of course, table tennis in Nigeria, of course, has won us a lot of things in the past, but quite a while, we've seen actions in the world of top tennis, but, we're hoping to see all these, sporting events get back to, our screen soon.
All right, so let's just set the ball rolling as we move on the show. Let's just let you know, in case you don't know, Tolu has talked about it. Austin has alluded to it as well. 16 days to go to the African Women's Cup of Nations to be held in Morocco. That's an official confirmation from us. And, of course, you can start the countdown. Of course, take the dates in your calendar. But let's just let you know, with regards to the 2022 African Women's Cup of Nations, 16 days to go. And the thing about the Nations Cup these days is that the confidence is not as high as it used to be when it talks about women's football. Our team is good. We always find a way to win, but it appears like a lot of people are closing the gap and breathing down on our necks. So even as we approach this tournament in Morocco, a lot of people are just trying to be very moderate and be very cautiously optimistic. And that's the vibes I get from people. I don't know if that's how you feel as well, Austin. People are optimistic, but very cautiously optimistic. Okay, it does appear that... But let me transfer that to Tolu. Okay, Austin is ready. But let me just quickly get Tolu's thoughts on this, then I'll go back to us. I mean, years past, we will just fold our hands and say, we're going to beat everybody. You don't say that now.
Yeah, definitely, you have to, look at it from this perspective that every day, football keeps growing in the continent of Africa, you understand? So that is one. And most of these countries, we consider minors in the past, pumps money, into their female league. Now we forgot, to do the needful in Nigeria, by virtue of winning every, Alcon in the past. We thought we will continue, of course, dominating, other African countries, lifelong. That is, and we ignore and neglect, our women, our football development in Nigeria. You understand? Now, it's obvious that some of these countries, of course, have already catch up with Nigeria. The likes of the Cameroonian female team, the Nanasis, of course, the Banyana of South Africa, and the Black Queens of Ghana, of course, are now considered the perennial rivals, of the Super Falcons. But we have a crop of young and, of course, and quality players in the Super Falcons rank, you understand? So all we need to, is transfer, to the female team, what is given to the Super Eagles. And by virtue of that, you will see, a good football being played by the Super Falcons. I know fully well that we have aging players in the team, who by now, should have retired or on the verge of retiring from female football, but we keep recycling this same set of players. Why Banyana of South Africa, of course, develops players at the grassroots level, but we don't do that here. So we rely solely on these foreign players, to come, rumble the jungle for Nigeria every time we have an international match involving the Super Falcons. But African football as a whole and is growing and is developing rapidly. So we have seen a couple of teams that have come through the ranks as far as female football is concerned in Africa.
All right. Austin, I don't know if you share that sentiment, because we want to talk a while about women's football, Super Falcons in focus. And I've talked about people being cautiously optimistic. One of the things that, of course, Tolu is saying that if you compare South Africa, for instance, they're churning out stars, the conveyor belt is working well. That's not the case with Nigeria. We're relying on some set of players. We're not growing the league, even though we might be winning. It's only a matter of time before these guys that are now our rivals catch up with us and beat us. Okay. All right. It seems to be having issues, but we sort it out. We sort it out. It's something we never hope to see. A time where all of these guys, they're already our rivals now. Before, we used to say we're head and shoulders above all of them. Now, you've said it, we can call them rivals. And the time we dread is a time where they rise above us and we begin to chase after them. I hope I don't get to see that day come. But let's quickly look at the group that Nigeria will be and the teams we will be up against. And, of course, Tolu has already talked about one of them that we need to take seriously. They came here to Nigeria and made us look so ordinary. Of course. It was painful to watch. It was very painful to watch. But don't you have a escape? Botswana, Burundi, Nigeria, South Africa. Obviously, all eyes and attention will be on South Africa. Of course, all eyes, will be on South Africa because of what, they did, to Super Falcons. They taught them, a bitter football lesson right there inside the renovated Mobolaji Bank Anthony Stadium. And it was painful and very disheartening, see the Banyana, are running around the Super Falcons as if they were teaching them the basics of football. But I think for me, we should not write off, any country. All the countries that qualify, to the tournament are potential champions. You should know that. Botswana, Burundi, are minors. Of course, we can still consider them as minors because they are not really doing well, in female football in Africa. But, getting to the finals of African Women Cup of Nations, we should take them seriously because in football, that's what they call underdogs. So sometimes, surprise the superpowers. You understand? So we have to take them serious and we have to prepare adequately for it. We can't just go there and think we can, overrun Botswana and Burundi. Of course, in any mistake, against these two teams,
might affect us against the Banyana of South Africa, because yes, we have seen them as our greatest rivals, in that group. But Botswana, Burundi, should be watchful as well. Exactly.
Okay, we should take all our opponents seriously. All right, I'm very sure Austin agrees with that as well.
That's the spirit of competition. You don't underrate any team, particularly the Super Falcons. They understand they are the team to beat. But you were asking me if I'm supporting them cautiously. It's difficult to follow the Super Falcons with caution. When you take a look at the records, the history they've made with winning in Africa, they've won 11 titles. The only 2 times they didn't win it, Equatorial Guinea did. And Equatorial Guinea were hosts the time they won it. So Equatorial Guinea needs to go outside Equatorial Guinea and prove a point. So it's very, very difficult to look at the Super Falcons in Africa and then you fear. But yes, I agree that other teams are looking at the Super Falcons and getting better. Maybe looked at the model and said, Nigeria isn't doing this, that, and this. Nigeria does not have a good long-term plan for players to migrate into the Super Falcons. So let's do that. Who is doing that well? Morocco. Morocco is doing that just fine, and they are beginning to make a statement in women's football. Are they catching up? Oh, yes, they are. Another team that has done that so well is South Africa. And you mentioned what they did to Nigeria when they came to Lagos for the Aisha Buhari Cup. So those are ways we can look at our football and consolidate. Otherwise, if it's talent, none of these countries come close to Nigeria. But in management, administration, infrastructure development, welfare, all of those things are part of what plays football outside the football pitch. And that's what has been affecting the Super Falcons. So that's why when we look at the Flamingos and we love the talent, we say let them grow. From the Flamingos, get them to the Four Cornets. From the Four Cornets, get them to the Super Falcons. That's what we saw with Desire Paranos, it was with Asisa Oshoala, with Francesca Odega, with Ngozi Okobi. But now fans are saying, we need new legs. They're getting tired. So when they don't do well, people look for an excuse or look for a reason to explain why they didn't do well. Randy Waldrum, I like what he's doing. When he came, he said, look, we don't have a super team. We need to build and take it one step at a time. And with the friendlies that I've seen him play, we can tell that he's going somewhere with this team, even with the qualifiers. So wait for Morocco to come. But now it's getting tougher. It's no more Nigeria versus one other team. It is Nigeria and other African teams that are willing to progress. For instance, some might look at Togo and say they're not doing so well women's football. But if you check out what they've been doing for women's football, particularly in terms of age grade competitions, they are not bad. Now you need to contend with Morocco. South Africa has always been there. You can't take your eyes away from Tunisia. There's also Cameroon. So that's what we're talking about. If not because Ghana and Nigeria were placed on the same road to qualify as Ghana, most likely would have been here. It tells you now that countries are coming up and beginning to see the reason to give women's football attention. And the CAF Women's Champions League has also done well. So women's football clubs now look forward to the CAF Women's Champions League. So you build at home and then you go to the continent to compete. We saw Rivers Angels. We thought they were dominant and they could do everything. But when they went to the CAF Women's Champions League, you know the rest. It means to tell us that we need to do more for league football development in Nigeria. So when you put all of this together, yes, you might have worries. But in terms of quality check, Super Falcons, all day, every day, they rank so high.
All right, Austin, before I yield the floor to you, we're going to talk about tennis in a bit. I'm going to ask you something. I'm going to allow Tolu say something that will get to you to talk about tennis. It appears, from what you've said, we are circumventing the process. We are still winning. That's obvious, even though it's not as easy as it used to be. But how long can we continue to win and still circumvent the process? When do you think everything will blow up in our face?
We are not just folding our hands. Those guys just come, catch up, and overtake. I think the NFF, they understand that this gap is closing. As I said, what we saw with the Aisha Buhari Cup was a good eye-opener. So now they need to go back and look at the wheel of progress. Where do we need to consolidate so that these guys don't catch up? Grassroots, the schools, women empowerment programs. Aisha Falode and her team in the NWFL, they've been championing on the beat that we can empower the girl child through football. We love the talent we see at the moment with the Flamingos. Have a long-term plan with them. Develop the league. Give attention to infrastructure development. Have a program with state governments that have teams in the NWFL and look at ways you can develop programs that will keep, the football circle going. If we do all of these things and pay proper attention, we know that we cannot give women the same attention that they give to the men. We hope that happens. Edo did it with Edo Queens and Bendel Insurance. When we do that, then yes, these other guys will say, they've stepped up again. What do we do to catch up? Because Morocco is doing just fine with everything. Look, Morocco invested so much. And when they were coming to the Aisha Buhari Cup, I told persons, look out for Morocco. And they are making that progress. Now they are hosts. You can't push it away from them. South Africa, same thing. Give so much attention to women's football. Now you can't push them away. So, it's about the danger signs. We can see it now. It's either we find a way to consolidate on our efforts, or we just stay and do the same thing and say, they will not catch us. And then they're right there in our face, and as you said, it will blow up.
All right. Okay. Austin found a way to dance around the question, but Tolu, help me out here. It appears like we might, Austin said something that part of what he said I agree with. We can't really say we are folding our hands. We can't really say that's all we are doing, because Aisha Falode and our team are doing a great job with women's football. But when you talk about grassroots, when you talk about the schools and all of those areas, infrastructure, facilities, and all that, you will have to accept that it leaves much to be desired. So if this continues, do you think, even while winning, there will still be a force in women's football?
Wow. Well, first of all, we have to look at it that, football is about winning, you understand? So, and the number of titles, of course, you win determines, where you rank yourself among the World Football Committee, you understand? So, but, winning, shouldn't be enough. We shouldn't be contented with winning every, our African women title without, developing the game of football, right from the grassroots, as you pointed out, because we have to, go deep down grassroots to unearth the hidden talents, refine, their football philosophy, you understand, so make them useful, to the society and to the nation at large. But if we fail to develop our football at the grassroots, because someday, you understand, so these countries, we surpass Nigeria as far as a developmental process is concerned, you understand? So, and while we lack, you find ourselves like even winning, we might not even be winning again, because when the players winning now retires tomorrow, what happens?
What happens? That's true. All right. Okay. All right, also, let me quickly yield the floor to you. Let's talk some tennis. And, of course, the great things happening in tennis, we can't tell. But then again, everybody wants more. And one of the coaches giving us a recipe for success.
That's what it is. Coach Brimo is saying, look, we need to get a functional league. And that's what we're talking about. When you have a league, you've put a structure in place. And for tennis, it's a no-brainer. This is a sport that if you want to excel, you must start from a very young age. First thing first. The story of Serena Williams or Venus. You remember when the dad said, you guys are shouting, Venus, Venus, the one that is coming after Venus, you will be wild. And they were so young at the time. And were we wild? Oh, yes. So Coach Brimo is saying, look, if we don't put the things that we need to put in place, tennis will not thrive. And so he's advocating for the creation of a tennis league. What will this league do? He says it will help players play regular games across the country. That's what we're talking about. It's not about just competition. You go play one competition 3 days, max 1 week, and then it's gone. Have a league that you go out there, you play, you assess yourself. And with a league, it's not just about players only. It's about coaches. It's about even parents that will be there, looking after their kids, and them playing. So it's holistic, and I totally agree with the coach. I say with only 3 major tournaments organized in Nigeria in the entire tennis federation calendar every year, just 3. But Brymo insists that the only way players can compete with the best in the world and improve their profile is to ensure they are fully engaged all year long. And I totally agree. So let's take a listen to the coach who come out and talk more about it.
Yeah, there is a lot to be done. I've been here since 1999 when I came from Germany on grassroots development. Well, they're still trying to get back to the game. Like I see, I've done my part. But what we need a lot of tennis clinic. We need a lot of junior tournaments. And what we need is tennis league. Because that will keep them more in play every week, where after they are training in the weekend, they have a competition to compete with themselves. I think we're trying to get to that level now. But on the grassroots, we don't really look at the development on grassroots, because from my research, I've been on the game for 20 years on grassroots. I see a lot of grassroots. When they give them that clinic, they don't have competitions to play because we are lacking of competition. And secondly, we don't really manage them. After the competition, nobody pick out a group of players and put them together to let them be like a team for like 5 years on a program for 5 years to make them train and look at their development in the game to see how we can send them out for a competition. But we still look into it to see what we can really do to bring them to that point. So for now, what I think we need more of competition. Tournament, maybe every month, like 2 to 3 junior competition, like in the senior, maybe 3 to 4 every month. If we can get that for now, I think we get somewhere.
Welcome back. Of course, just listening to Musa Brymo, a former tennis player, former national team player, and also a coach of tennis in the country. Also, you were trying to make a point about, what we need to do, and also it appears like you agree with Musa Brymo on some of the things he said.
Yeah, I totally agree with him. I've spoken with Coach Brymo a lot of times, and this is what he says, because people don't understand what the grassroots is all about. They think you just organize one competition or do a clinic, and then you've done something for the grassroots. No, it's like a living document. You should go to it, you review, you find a way to make it better, and that's the only way. He mentioned competition. He said, don't just do 3 in a year and think that you've done something. He said minimum of 4 competitions in a month so that you can assess your progress. And it's coming from a point of authority because he was once a player and now he's a coach. So he knows what he's talking about. Tolu, if you take a look at tennis, in what ways can we improve?
Yeah, what ways do you think we can improve?
Yeah, it's saddened my heart, every time when I see the dwindling fortunes of tennis in Nigeria. Gone are the days when we had players like Unduka, Odizo, and co. So we were making waves, in tennis and ruling African continents. But suddenly, everything just turned upside down. So we don't even know the direction we were heading then. But now, so if really if we had to revive tennis in Nigeria, just as Musa Brymo pointed out, that of course, we have to go back to grassroots. That is where we have to focus on, and keep our attention, and then, unearthing this talent, come up, with a solid blueprint, of course, on how, to organize a league, just as I said, the Niger Tennis League in Nigeria, where the players, can compete with themselves week in, week out, move around, you understand? So it's very important, you understand? So, because, let me quickly, bring this in. During the last National Youth Sport Festival in Edo, I saw, the tennis lawns, the facilities there, the equipment brought there. I was asking myself a question that after this National Sport Festival, what becomes of this infrastructure, of these facilities and equipment, mounted everywhere? So what? Someone said, oh, come back here. Come back after 4 years, to see these facilities. You will be surprised. That is it, because after the sport festival, nothing happens there again. You understand? So everything goes under the carpet. We should go back to the grassroots. Come out with a blueprint on how to do things perfectly, organize a league, you understand? So then go to schools, you understand? So introduce, tennis, to schools, make it compulsory for them in their sports curriculum activities. Let them know it is important you do this thing. Then, go to, schools that combine a sport like, this international school in Wasimi. Of course, they combine sports. Go there, introduce a tennis. Then every two weeks, you understand? So, revisit, your
see what they're doing,
your program, to see what they are doing. Organize a league. Let them compete themselves. Start from the grassroots. Gradually, you take it to the top. If we are able to achieve that, definitely, the glory days of tennis in Nigeria will return.
All right. Okay, let's listen to an administrator now, well-respected administrator, popular face when you talk about tennis, Godwin Kienka, also speaking on what needs to be done for the game of tennis in Nigeria. Let's listen to him and come back for more.
In the last 10 years, we've started dwindling because for Nigeria specifically, they rode on the crest of the diesel success, and we didn't lay the foundation. That is where the International Tennis Academy came in with our junior programs and all that. We've been running a very massive junior development program, but we've been quiet about it. Right now we have 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds who are as good as their counterparts that age group anywhere in the world. We have 14-year-olds, 2 14-year-olds who can hold their own at that level in any country in the world. I mean, anywhere in the world. Specifically, Seun Ogunshaki and Mubarak Ganiu. And I appealed to their governors, who appear to be sports-loving people, to send them to academies abroad. This is the stage where they go to academies for 2 or 3 years, and then they go into the circuit and become great players. Maybe 5 million naira or something. They're not doing that. So now we're looking to raise that money from the private sector and send these boys out before they pass that period, that belt where you have to hone their skills.
All right, interesting. I like the thoughts about Godwin Kienka. He talks about funding and talks about getting the best from these guys when we can still lay the foundation. And off camera, I was telling Tolu that one of the problems is the fact that schools, especially private schools, don't feel the need to inculcate or to find a way to accommodate sports. I jokingly told him I have a 10-year-old who has not played 1% of football that I played when I was his age. I'm not even sure that 1% is correct. And that's a problem everywhere. And by the time they begin to know about those sports, I can't teach a whole dog new tricks, like they say. So it becomes, I'm happy to hear him say, oh yeah, we have 10-year-olds who are good as their counterparts. He knows what he's saying. It's hard for me to believe because of what I see. But from where he stands, that is right. So on one side, funding is a problem. Then on the other side, what do we do with the apathy that seems to be on ground? Because those who are in the education sector, parents, guardians, they don't care. They just tell the kids, your books, and that's all. No provision for sports.
That's it. You've mentioned it here. I mean, so You see, it's not just about the sports administrators. Like in your time when you were playing football, those percentage was because of the successes that the country was recording in football. So parents were pushing kids, get into it, and the vibe isn't the same now, you know. And if you look at where we're coming from as a country, you hear in the 70s we're doing well. In the 80s we got better. In the 90s we're still there. But from the 2000s, things started changing, you know. So where did we lose it? We need to go back and correct it. Godwin Kienka and the work he's doing at the junior circuit is commendable. I've read the story about Shehu and Mubarak that I mentioned. You know, and for Godwin, it's seeming like, look, would these guys thrive with their tennis if they are here? The answer is no. That's why he's saying let them go to international academies. For instance, if you tell a governor, invest 20 million naira on just one player to go to an academy, the governor will sit back and listen. And even if he has advisors, they'll say, why not even start your own tennis academy that will get more kids in the country to play? So it means something is missing. We must start thinking about ways we can do it back home. I think that's the major work we need to start doing. I agree with you. Parents are also part of it. Oh, you want to go and play sports and then your education will suffer. We keep telling them that, look, this thing is talent. If you see your child has some special talent, help that child to grow with that talent, because the talent will make him a star. But when you combine it with education, they become superstars. And that's what we should keep preaching. But the foundation is missing. And that's why when we say grassroots, we just don't mean go and do one competition. It means there must be a working document guiding everything that you're doing. That's why we say put sports into the curriculum. Let teachers also know that this is serious business. Parents know that this is serious business. State government, get into it. Ministry of Education, get into it. Councils, get into it. Everybody's 360 degrees branding. Until we do that, it'll be difficult. Like if you want to look at Nigerian football, go and check the number of international transfer certificates that they issue and find out how many is from the local league. Academies are still making money, sending players abroad while the league is suffering because we've ignored structures, we've ignored working policies that can make these things happen. And if football is struggling, basketball is struggling, athletics struggling, somebody will now look at it, is it tennis? Those are the issues they mean.
All right, you know what? Tolu told me off camera that in this area, places where he grew up, there were like parks, places where you could go play football, and just close your eyes and open. A structure has already been built in those places, and you don't have where the young ones can go, hone their skills. I mean, some of us, nobody really trained anybody, but you just had the opportunity one way or the other to do what you liked, and somebody saw you doing it, and you get the opportunity. That part of the process, it has disappeared.
Of course, even adjacent my house, there's a private school there. One day I just strolled into the school premises. I met with the proprietress. I said, "Well, when is your inter-house sport?" They say, "What did you say? What is inter-house sport?" Say, "Where is the sports feed?" Say, "No, say we don't do this because we don't have a feed." I was wondering why would government, of course,
give you an approval.
Give an approval, without
you don't have all of this.
You understand nothing. That is why they just have to do something. Let's start from the local government to the state government, now to the federal government. You understand? So when you are establishing a school, before you can get a license, to run a school, you must have a provision for sports. You understand? So they must see it's part of the development of the kids. Exactly, but when you don't have that, and we always say, catch them young. Where do you intend to catch them young? When you don't have where to go to see this. I remember, look, just as I said, I remember the 87 squad of under 17 Bawa Abdullahi. Most of the players, were scouted at Anwaro Slama Gege. So they came there, to play every day after school hours, weekend. You understand? So even the rumors of this world, the rumors of we were scouted in Keja here, But what do we have now? Any little space. So we can play ball there tomorrow. When you get there tomorrow morning, you see a structure there.
We put that. All right. that's the situation we find ourselves. Hopefully things will change very soon. Let's give you a slice of karate on the show. Same story across, just same story. Chairman of the Lagos Karate Association says he's happy with the success of the secondary school karate clinic for games masters and mistress. He believes the capacity program will aid the development of the sports at grassroots level through schools by the training the teachers directly involved with the students. I mean, it's a tiny thread that passes through all of these things. Grassroots, very, very important. Let's just quickly listen to the chairman of the Lagos State Karate Association, Omololu Bello. Of course, bearing a smile, we'll come back to continue with the show.
We're starting an empowerment program or a capacity development program for the game masters and mistresses across the secondary schools in Lagos State. The vision of the program is that in the next 2 to 3 years, we will use this grassroots development program to produce champions for Lagos State and champions for Nigeria. Lagos State will become the hub for karate excellence in Africa and in the whole world. So we're starting with the game masters, who has direct connection or in contact with the athletes in secondary schools, and we have decided to go to the different districts in Lagos State to empower them or to train them. This is the pilot program where we intend to train like 1,000 secondary school children in the state in this first year of this program. Then after that, we hope to develop it further, to develop them like almost 2,000 to about 5,000 within the next 3 to 5 years. So the program also has an educational component. We believe that children should be empowered in technology. So some of these children that excel very well in karate, we will further develop them in coding and some different aspects of technology. So it becomes an opportunity for us to groom them physically and mentally, and also for their future in entrepreneurship, such that they can earn money. Because one of the challenges we have in sports is the athletes don't have money to do what they love to do. So we want to empower them with technology so that they can earn money on their own and be able to pay for their training and be able to do what they love to do. And by doing that, we would empower them to become coaches.
I mean, you could say all that is said word for word. Same scenario everywhere. But kudos to the Lagos State Karate Association, the chapter. Of course, looking at plans, want to make Lagos a hub, training the trainers, involving the teachers, and also try to educate the kids, getting that blend, that mix. That's what we're talking about. And we're hoping that, all of this, tiny drops of water begins to flow. Then, then before you know it, you have an ocean. And hopefully all of these things will work out for all these federations, and hopefully they will make Lagos a hub. All right, let's move on the show. We're going to use the few minutes we have left to talk football and, of course, tennis. Of course, Tolu called it the most competitive club football competition, or let's just say the most competitive league, in his own words. Before somebody comes for me, talks about the English Premier League. Now we have the fixtures for the English Premier League. The upcoming season is a unique one. They're going to have a break. A lot of people have clamored for a break in England. They didn't budge. But now, because the World Cup will be in November, it's going to be a break. All right, there you have it. August 5, opening fixture. It's going to be between Crystal Palace and Arsenal. On August the 6th, you have Fulham taking on Liverpool, Bournemouth taking on Aston Villa, Leeds, of course, taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers. You have Leicester City up against Brentford. All of this match day one. Newcastle will take on Nottingham Forest. You also have Tottenham Hotspur will be up against Southampton. Everton will be up against Chelsea. And then again, Manchester United will take on Brighton. West Ham will take on Manchester City. Mouth-watering fixtures you have on day one. Austin, let me just come back to you. Everything is happening at your backyard. Very interesting days to come. But now, a lot of people happy with this, but football transfers is what everybody seems to be talking about, and a lot of people are happy that they're seeing this. It shows that the new season is upon us.
Yeah, we're still in the silly season where, rumors about who is moving to one club, who is not going. So no one is really talking about the opening day fixtures. But some fans are talking about it, English fans, they've been sad lately because what is happening at the Nations League. So when this fixture came out, and you mentioned it's a unique one, that they're going to pause it, someone was like on radio that don't bother, England will be out in the first round and then get our league back on, So these fans are very funny, like you go stop our league football because of the World Cup, because the World Cup will run till December, and then the league will come back 1 week after the World Cup is done. Just imagine if a team is doing so well, on their momentum, and then going to the World Cup, we pause it, you come back, that team starts struggling. People are still complaining about the water breaks that doesn't go more than 2 minutes. By the time they come back, the momentum is lost. So fans, we always talk, and what people are forgetting is that change is inevitable. Yeah. So these changes will keep coming. Like this is the first time we're having the World Cup, the period we're having it. So that's what Infantino is trying to tell everyone, adjust. These changes won't stop. When VAR came, people cried, some laughed, some complained, some are still yelling. But VAR has come to stay. So same with the football fans in England. Are you going to stop our football league that way? Sponsors are adjusting, the clubs are adjusting, fans will also adjust. It is what it is.
It is what it is. They don't have a choice. All right. Tolu, very different, unique one. I remember there have been so many calls, let there be a break, let there be no. But now, of course, because of the World Cup. But interesting days ahead, clubs still have the opportunity to buy players. There's a funny story of Paul Pogba saying £300,000 per week was nothing. All those kind of things. But very interesting.
We're looking forward, to see players moving from one club to another. Even coaches as well, yes. Changing environments. But, what interests me most, is playing at the World Cup, in November, December. So, the leagues, we have to go on break, for it to happen. So, but, I think the most interesting part of it, from the, view that comes from the English Premier League is that, as most of these smaller clubs, of course, most of them are happy, that, by the time, the club, the league go on break, you understand? So, they will have ample time
to rest and to see
before, they resume the action. But, I think that is one part. The other part is, we are waiting to see a biggest football transfer, happening in coming days, you understand? So, like we've seen the signing of Erling Haaland by Manchester, and of course, we heard this morning that Gabriel Jesus, of course, is on the verge of joining Arsenal. So, but the news is yet to be authenticated. But and again, Lewandowski, trying to join either Barcelona or Real Madrid. But I consider those news as a rumor
until it happens.
Until it happens, you understand? So, but for me, it is it's good because the anxiety, you understand? So it's getting bigger every day. Wow, in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, in a couple of days, we shall be seeing Premiership, Bundesliga, Champions, Portuguese League, Premier, all these things.
And that's a wrap on the show tonight. And first, let me just thank Tolu Atobatele for his time on the show. Let me say welcome back. Hopefully we'll see you again.
I know, it's a delight, to be here every time to talk sport, you understand? So one of the best.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, that's the show today. We do hope you enjoyed everything we've been able to bring to you. Still one more edition for the week. We'll do our best to keep you informed, entertained, and educated all in one breath when we do this. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
I mean, Arsenal fans in the UK, they're saying, why are they getting the opening fixture again? They remember what happened with Brentford, and now they are going to play Crystal Palace to start the season. I'll leave you to contemplate about that. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan, and everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.